I like to find a way to add some music to these videos, at least intro music, so it's a nice build up until when I start talking. I know a lot of videos are all freaking glitz and glamour and little tunes and cuts and edits and all that stuff. I'm just kind of like hit the record button and just sit back. I got this. I'll just speak. It's like a lecture at college. It's almost like if you really listen, you'd say, "Oh shit!" If I actually was listening, not the perfect teacher, not the most astute teacher there is, not the most intelligent or brilliant person there is, but the message. If you listen to the message, you might be onto something. Or actually, we can learn something. Maybe that's kind of where I'm at currently. If you stick in there long enough, you'll pick something up that I'm putting down. All right, today, welcome to the YouTube Sports Network. We're going to be talking about who I believe are the top outfielders available on the free agent market. There are 8 players on this end here, and there are 6 players here. Initially, I thought I was going to make like a top 20. Then I said, you know what? I'm looking at the players. I'm like, I'll make it a top 15. And then, forgive me, I couldn't get past the 14 players I have here. And this is with all respect due and no disrespect given to any player that I didn't put on this list or any player that I didn't include currently, which is probably saying the same thing. I'm just putting these guys here because I thought I looked up a website, I checked the website, and I looked at all the free agent outfielders that are available. And there's a deep list, obviously. There are 3 outfielders to a team, so you're going to get more of those guys than any other position. Maybe pitchers is the other position that you'll see a lot of players in. But I'm looking at this. Crap! What happened here? I gotta smooth this out. So I saw all these players. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put these guys down. I was gonna create tiers, 1 tier, 2 tier, and then keep going. And I ended it on this portion with these guys, and I'm gonna have this being tier 1, and this will be tier 2. So we're gonna cover right now tier 1. I guess I'll cover, just because I want to write something on the board that's something that I can write fast as opposed to like sentences. I'll be like, okay, because I see people do this. I'm like, yeah, now I'm engaged. He's writing. All right. So today we're going to be talking about tier 1 outfielders. Wow, even just putting it like that and writing here, now I see the appeal of like being an instructor or being a teacher. It feels professional. Today we're going to be talking, they got a point too. Today we're going to be talking about tier 1. And then I see it, I'm like, are you going to erase that? Because it's not a 1 anymore. And my OCD's acting up, and you're putting marks on the board. And then I remember being a kid, and they were like, they're erasing the board, whether it be a chalkboard or a dry erase board. And if they left like a piece, like they erased it, and I'm like, oh, they got it. I don't know, it's my brain. And they have a whole bunch of stuff here, and they're getting through it, and it's smooth. I'm like, oh, wow, look, you don't even see any fragment left over from another word. And if they leave like a little piece, just to say, they leave like that, even though you can barely see it, they leave that, I'll be like, in my mind, I'm like, is he going to see that? Does he see that? Is he going to go over and finally erase it? And actually, most times they're not. They go right over. And then I can sit calmly. Welcome to the inside of my brain, even as a kid. So, all right, we're gonna cover these guys. I'm gonna cover these guys, right? And briefly, because I think I have an idea of what I want to do with what I put here, and have it in a different medium. Also, with continue to do these videos, but have another medium as well that I used to do, that feels fulfilling, even though it's grueling and it could be excruciating. It's fulfilling, which feels like a lot of things in life. If it's something that you need to do or you want to do because there the results at the end of it, but it's excruciating and like can really like stir up some unwanted emotions because it's difficult. But like going through those moments, we all know, right? Or a lot of us hear about this. It's fulfilling and it's rewarding when you can see the fruits of your labor, as they say. Now I'll get into what it is in a moment. I just want to get the momentum going with that other medium again, and then I'll start to say this is what I'm going to do. Don't announce things before you start doing them. You set yourself up for failure for that in that way, maybe in multiple ways actually. All right. That's like your reputation, right? You say you're gonna do something, you don't do it. It's like your reputation and your credit score are the same thing. Your credit score is your reputation in your finances, and your reputation is your reputation how you represent yourself. So they're the same thing. If you say you're gonna swipe and buy something, swiping your credit card and claiming that you're essentially claiming you're gonna purchase it or pay for it at a later date, or you're saying you're capable of buying this, and when it comes due time to pay that due or that debt, and you don't, what happens? Your credit score lowers. If you say you're going to be somewhere, you're going to do something, and then you don't, what happens? Your reputation lowers. So they go hand in hand. It's your acknowledgement to show or pay, and you don't. Okay. Now with the life lesson out the way, I'm going to get to this list. Kyle Schwarber. I see how quick I can do this one. How do we say that? I wrote some things about these players, but I would like to go without having them like reference the paper, maybe just kind of like free fall, because when you start to put too much information in there, you kind of lose the essence of what you want to say. And it's interesting that I can't find it anyway. This information, this research that I was doing, I can't seem to find the stats. But it doesn't really matter because I can tell you, at least what I can remember, I can tell you. I'm bugged out. How is this not even here? That's weird. It is so weird. I've literally been working on this, on like doing research and stuff, and I can't find the paper. Oh, it's right here. I was going to be fine with going without it, but I wanted to see if I can get it going. Wow, I'm at the 8-minute mark, almost 7 minutes and 51 seconds. I don't want to do this for 20 minutes. You guys don't want to hear me talk for 20 minutes. Kyle Schwarber. There's maybe not exact order. It's probably not exact order, like he's number 1, he's number 8. But I'll say this is as close to maybe the order as I can get it. I think I will leave it at this. Kyle Schwarber is the number 1 free agent available in the outfield, or one of the biggest free agent hitters, maybe the best free agent hitter available. Damn, I gotta look at the list now. I know Pete Alonso's available, right? Bregman's available. I mean, Bellinger, obviously. But we'll just say he's the best available. He's the best outfielder available, positional-wise, right? Kyle Schwarber is off the heels of a 56 home run season. These are the reasons why. He's crushing home runs. He's found his home run stroke. I mean, he's always been a home run hitter, but generally, recently, he has, and especially since he's joined Philadelphia, joined the Phillies, he's without question, a premier power hitter. He signed a 4-year deal with Philadelphia, 4 years, 79, and he basically delivered. You know, how many home runs has he hit? I don't even think I've had these stats here. I just wrote a lot of stats here, but he's hit 56 this year, 38, 47, and 46. So that's a large percentage. I'm not even doing the math off the top of my head right now, but we're sitting in the 200s, right? He has 200 plus home runs in the last 4 seasons, right? Just about. Or damn near close. Damn near really close. But he has 340 home runs in his career. I know that number for sure. He has 340 home runs in his career. He slugged a large amount of those in Philadelphia, or as a member of the Phillies. He was a free agent signing, and this is coming off when he was actually I'm not going to look at the notes. Again, I always say this, that one stop in Boston can do people wonders. And Schwarber in 2020, I'm going to have to look at it for this. In 2021 was a kind of like a bounce back, prove it signing by the Nationals. 1 year, $10 million, I think it was. They signed Schwarber, and he performed well over there. And they traded him to Boston, and then he went to Boston and hit like 290 with Boston. This is a guy who wasn't known to be an average hitter, but he was hitting for average and power in that short amount of time with Boston, and he did so well there. He spurned that, and he turned that like half season or smaller sample size in Boston into a 4-year, $79 million contract with the Phillies from 2022 to 2025. Now, before that, he was with the Cubs, and he helped the Cubs win a World Series. I think he missed all of 2 games in 2016, the year that they won. And he wound up going to, is it 2016? Yeah, 2016, they beat Cleveland. He wound up coming back for the playoffs and had a pretty good postseason run. So Schwarber had some, almost like kind of similar to Bellinger in a way, had a 2-year stretch where his average was just super low, even though he would still hit for homers, super low. And it just didn't seem like a reasonable trade-off, I guess, for the team, for the Cubs at that time, to, I guess, keep him. So they wound up letting him go essentially, and he signed that 1-year prove-it deal with the Nationals. Did well there. Got traded to Boston. Did really well there, and then turned into a big contract. Now he's a free agent. 33 years old. I mean, this is one of the biggest, or he's like I said, a premier hitter. And just to look at the stats here. First left-handed batters. Okay, so this is huge for him. They changed it up as far as they changed up the, what do they call it? Oh my God, the shift. They put a rule in place, MLB, of changing up the shift. So it kind of like outlawed the shift in a way. Where it kind of changed the rules in a sense where you can't be as aggressive, I guess, in your shifting where you put the players. So the MLB outlawed that. So it kind of like opened up more holes than there was previously, especially for a lot of these left-handed hitters. And Schwarber was a big beneficiary of those switches. Even though you can't shift if you hit over like you can't guard against hitting over the shift, right? Which is what he's gotten, which he's amazing at. Ah, crap! I need to charge my computer. I just happened to peep down at that. Excuse me, people. So he's obviously become elite at hitting the ball above the shift, but he also benefited with his average going up altogether last year. He had a 255 average. He had a 240 batting average, which you consider going up. Although he had a 248 batting average in 2024. So his batting average now, I think that's around the time of when the shift has been implemented the last couple of seasons. It's gone up because in 2023 he had a 197 batting average and he had a 218 batting average in 2022. So he's increased his batting average. The power is still there, and even more so, he's getting more homers. He's been steady with the homers. 38 last year, 47 and 46 the 2 previous seasons. Point is, he's increased his batting average, at least a more stable rate, and also is hitting against left-handed pitching. Last year he batted 252 against lefties, and he slugged 598. He slugged better against lefties than he did against righties. The year before that he slugged 490, same thing, better against lefties than against righties, and he batted 300 against lefties in 2024. Before that, 188 against lefties and 193 against lefties. So he did what a lot of left-handed batters usually do. They don't hit for a lot of average against them. Or at least, you have your guys that can. Bellinger is very good against lefties too. But what I'm saying is lefty-lefty, they always consider it a very difficult matchup for the hitter. But these two guys, or Schwarber in particular, has kind of wiped that out as far as a weakness for him. So him hitting the open market, where he's at, 33. He's 33. He's going to be playing under 33 this year coming up. Still a good, solid young age for baseball, or a reasonable age for baseball. He seems to be improving, as far as his average is concerned. Strikeout numbers are still high. If you can cut that down, I mean, he's not striking out in the 200s, but he did strike out. Well, I say he's not striking out in 200s. He struck out 197 times each of the last 2 years. Before that was 215 and 200. So you're going to get a high strikeout guy. You're going to get a guy who's now walked in three straight seasons over 100 walks. So he's a guy that high strikeout, high walk, high homers. One of those 3 outcome guys. Walk, strikeout, and homer. But with the increased average, not just batting average overall, but against lefties, he's becoming, I guess, matchup proof. He's a serious guy. Everybody wants to win, but he's a serious guy. I think he's a guy that you would want on your team. He can fool around, but he can also really change a culture. Maybe in a way change a culture. He does have a World Series ring. He is a premier player in the league. He definitely, will straighten things out however they see it fit. But he's definitely a guy that I think a team would add and have no qualms or issues with. Nothing to double check. Solid guy, solid player. So he's obviously the number 1 free agent available. That's 16 minutes and 30 seconds nearly I'm talking, and I still have 7 guys to go. No way am I going to talk for 30 minutes here. No way. All right, Cody Bellinger is the next guy on the list. I got him slightly ahead of Tucker because I think maybe I'm off, but it's going to come down to money. I think you're going to get a little bit less money committed to Bellinger, and the flexibility of him playing the field, how he plays the field, where he plays the field, first base, outfield, and how he does it. Not that Kyle Tucker is not a good outfielder, because he is. I just think that him coming a little bit cheaper, they're both lefties, but him coming a little bit cheaper and the positional flexibility, I like him maybe slightly value-wise for Tucker as a free agent. Now, a lot of people would probably say, no way, Tucker all the way. Tucker, maybe even some people would say number 1. However, you know what I'm going to do? This is the video. I'm going to cut it off right here. Still a top 8, but I'm going to cut it off right here. We're going to leave it to talk about these 3. I just realized that. No way I'm going to be able to get into the other guys and keep your attention for that long. So we'll talk about these 3. Bellinger, like I said, this is a guy who, like I'm going to say, great year in the Bronx, hit runners in scoring position. I think he had 348 average. He hits well against lefties and righties. He's damn near identical against lefties and righties. Fairly even splits across batting lines between both lefties and righties. Less than 100 Ks in 3 straight seasons, which I think is underrated stat. He plays left field, right field, and center field. He played 85 games in left field last year. I think that's the majority of the games he's played in left was last year. I think he has about 140 games in left. Most of them came left last season. And he plays center, he plays right, plays first base, right? 267 career batting average versus lefties. So I have him as top 3, obviously, and maybe 2 because of that. I think he's going to come in slightly cheaper. I think I always have him at that 5-year range. 5 years, I'd say 5 years. If you want to give him 5 years, 150, I say that's a lot, $30 million a year. I say he can snag 30, maybe on a 3-year deal. Somebody wants to make him their first baseman. Yeah, if the Yankees want to sign Tucker and Bellinger, it's going to be tough because they're obviously both looking for long-term contracts. Everybody probably is. Mostly is. And I know they got great. Stanton getting tied up. So having Stanton, even though the Yankees they act like they care about money, but you're still spending $280 million, whatever you are. Stanton is I don't want to say cap casualty because I don't want to discount or discredit people and players and their ability. But if he played more games, then you would be happy about it. But he doesn't play enough games to warrant a $30 million plus price tag. He might. And I said this not too long ago. Is Stan going to be one of the few guys to hit 500 home runs and not actually the only guy to hit 500 home runs and not make the Hall of Fame? I swear, I said that mid-season. I said to my friend Mike, one of my best friends, I said, Mike, isn't it weird? Would you believe, or would you say this can happen? Stan hits 500 plus homers, he reaches the 500 home run mark, and he doesn't make the Hall of Fame? I mean, there's a possibility. Probably not, but they always say you reach those certain benchmarks, 3,000 hits, 3,000 strikeouts, 300 wins, 500 homers, 3,000 hits, maybe I repeated that. The point is, you reach those benchmarks, it's an automatic, unless you have steroid allegations, you're not going to get in. At least, not yet, at least. That's why I say buy those Barry Bonds rookie cards. And why isn't it my boy, not Gary Sheffield? I've been trying to get Gary Sheffield into the Hall of Fame for about 5-6 years now. Maybe even longer. I just don't understand why he's not in when he's okay. I could just go. That's why I go 21 minutes and change and hadn't even got to Kyle Tucker yet. It's a whole topic. All right. The point is that I think that if the Yankees, if you want to make him your first baseman, make him the outfielder, and then that's if Stanton wasn't there. If you trade him creatively, if you trade him to the Phillies, Stanton, and you do like some type of, I always thought Stanton was going to go to the Phillies and he'll be able to do some type of swap somehow contractually. Maybe bring Bryce Harper in. Bryce Harper is due more money long term, I believe, than Stan is due long term. I mean, try to convince the Philly fans that that's a good move, but they might actually see it that way. I think a lot of people might, shorter term, high price contract is better than long term high price contract, depending if you want that guy or not. Now I'm getting real complicated, but you gotta follow me. So that's what I'm thinking about. Bellinger, Kyle Tucker. I mean, he's 29. It's 8 seasons he's played. 7 with Houston. 1 year with the Cubs last year. 136 games. He had 266 average, 377 on base, 464 slugging, a 143 OPS plus. So he actually had one of his, believe it or not, OPS plus wise, like statistical seasons, one of the better seasons that Tucker has had. And he missed a couple games. He missed a lot of games in 2024, but he still put together a stat line that played over more of 160 games. Obviously numbers were better, the counting stats, but he still was in line of having, and still had a very good season nonetheless. But is it a good fit there? I mean, I think a good player is a good fit anywhere, right? You would think. Did he like it there? Who knows? Now the point is, he's a free agent, and he's a guy that is established. He's established himself. First you saw him like, oh, this guy's pretty good. And then he's like doing it over a few years in a row, and wins a World Series with the Astros. And now quickly he became like, wow, this guy's one of the best outfielders in baseball. Like pretty quickly. Although now they give you those titles. They give you superstardom and star, the label of those I guess, what is it called? Attributes. But my God, I forgot the word. But you get you get these labels pretty quickly now. But Tucker, with the production that he's had over the last 5 seasons, 6 seasons, or 5 seasons to be more exact, is certainly something that you don't shy away from. And he's very good. He's put himself in a category that he is better than a lot of his, or put together better seasons than a lot of his peers. So, I mean, to get into those last 5 seasons, he's averaging on a 162 game basis, if you do want to rate that, 33 homers, 106 RBIs, is 277 batting average. He has 433 RBIs in the last 5 seasons. That's nearly 100 RBIs per season. So he is a premier. He's a very good baseball player. Hits lefties, hits righties. Very good. I'd say this is your probably top tier, but I put it all as one. And these are the free agent outfielders. We're going to cover the rest, these guys to go, and we're eventually going to get to these guys. I'm going to end it right there. And just like that, that's a 25-minute video. I don't care. I'm going to leave it up. Thank you for watching the YouTube Sports Network. I'll talk to you guys soon.